President Ilir Meta has refused to hand over full authority to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for negotiations with Greece, explaining that the President's institution must not be left without information on the matter. The draft law for vetting of state police was approved despite only receiving votes from the majority, while the DP's proposals, such as to include the Ministry of Interior, were dismissed. Former Prime Minister and historic leader of the DP, Sali Berisha, discussed the events surrounding the fall of communism as today we commemorate the 27th anniversary of the day of the fall of the bust of Enver Hoxha. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Tuesday the 20th of February 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. The hot topic tonight, of course, is that immediately after the letter sent to the Foreign Minister, Ditmir Bushati, President Ilir Meta came out at a press conference to clarify that he could not stand before the fact of a possible maritime deal without prior consultation. Citing the 2009 Constitutional Court decision and the Constitution itself, the President said he would use all the available mechanisms in order to avoid being complicit in a deal that may be incorrect. I will not be involved in negotiating a bad deal, confirmed President Meta. Meta clarified that his actions are not that of a political game, but a responsibility for an important deal. Asked about the impact of his decision in postponing the agreement that is expected to be closed during the meetings with Greek Prime Minister Tsipras, Meta said that the agenda of the foreign prime ministers cannot influence the decision-making of the head of the state. I am not affected by Prime Minister Tsipras' agenda, said Ilir Meta. In conclusion, the President also gave a clear message to the Foreign Minister saying that on this issue, his communication will be only in an institutional and official manner. I will only communicate in official forms with the Foreign Minister, said Ilir Meta. After his statement, the Foreign Ministry, in a statement to the media, said that the President's letter is being reviewed and then talks will continue with him. According to the Ministry, the process that has begun with Greece is complex, requiring calm and avoidance of animosity that, at this stage, does not exist. The law on vetting of the state police received its approval today after obtaining the required number of votes only from the majority party, who rejected the opposition's amendments. With the argument that their proposals make the law realistically applicable, Khaled Ali Bey proposed that the subject of vetting be the Interior Minister and his Cabinet Chief and Deputy Ministers. The draft law should also include the assessment of the Minister of Interior, insisted Ali Bey. The proposal was rejected by the majority, while the chairman of the Law Commission, Ulsi Manya, said that at this stage the requirements is for the vetting of members of the state police, not for politicians. This law is not being developed for the politicians, retorted Manya. The opposition also demanded that vetting bodies be non-political and independent of the government, including the Ministry of Interior. DP MP Ali Bey said that this law is a farce and does not bring anything new. Referencing the number plate of the vehicle sold by former Interior Minister Samir Tahiri to the Habilai Group, Ali Bey protested, "Passengers of 003GB cannot clean up the police." Despite a large number of amendments, the majority rejected the opposition's suggestions and approved the current draft, which is expected to go to the Assembly on Thursday. At the end of the meeting, the opposition asked again for reflection from the majority. There are about 15,000 employees of the State Police, Republican Guard and the Internal Affairs Service who will all pass through the CIVA vetting. The three major components of the process are asset valuation, reputational assessment and the valuation of professional skills. In commemoration of the 27th anniversary of the statue of former dictator Enver Hoxha being torn down, the former Prime Minister Sali Berisha made a general overview of the events of that time, which culminated on February 20th. According to the Democratic Party's historic leader, the mission of that time was the fall of Enver Hoxha's cult, which continued to be present even after his death. Even Ramiz Aliyah himself did not have a cult. If you ask what the difference between them was, the most essential difference was that Enver Hoxha was a dictator with a cult, while Ramiz Aliyah was absolutely a dictator but failed to create a cult. Even after Enver Hoxha was dead, his cult was still thriving all over Albania, exclaimed Sali Berisha. The former Prime Minister also brought to attention the episodes of that day when he said the DP played a key role in stopping bloodshed and evidenced an example. Berisha said that he considered the students' actions a revolution, which was culminated with the destruction of the bust of the former dictator that was so prominently displayed in Tirana. The municipality of Tirana, in cooperation with the Information Authority on former state security documents, will provide the opportunity for many people to bring their own testimonies and experiences from the communist regime. The idea is to encourage young people to learn more and understand a part of the darkest history of our country. For the Mayor, Arian Veliai, the initiative Even the Walls Have Ears brings an alternative visionary art to history, highlighting the memories and sufferings of thousands of Albanians under the communist regime for today's generation. The municipality of Tirana will be involved in the activities that will take place in the capital because I believe that if we do not devote time, energy and funds to this self-cleaning operation, we will miss a historic chance. Therefore, this initiative deserves all our congratulations. I wish you good luck and I hope to finalise it on May 9th, where we not only commemorate the day of the fall of fascism and the day of Europe, but also reflect a little on what the fall of fascism brought for Albania. In most of Europe, the fall of fascism brought freedom, while in Albania, it brought heavier handcuffs, remarked Veliai. The chair of the Information Authority on former state security documents, Gentiana Sula, stressed that this project will give voice to many testimonies and experiences of those who have suffered atrocities under the former system. We are here to collect the unspoken messages that have remained during the dictatorship, experiencing, suffering, the taste of courage and solidarity. We have a collection of files which are generally evidence of oppression and the denigration of important people in our society from that time. This project aims to share these documents alongside oral evidence, telling the history from a 360-degree perspective. This way, the young generation can get a clear picture by reading the written evidence and hearing the anecdotes from those who experienced it at that time, articulated Sula. The brains behind the idea of this project, artist Alketa Jaffa Mripa, stressed that this initiative, through art and history, seeks to provoke the past. Everyone is welcome, whether they have a story to tell of their own or one that they have heard from their grandparents about the barbarian regime that took control here in Albania, added the artist Mripa. The overlapping of property titles is a major problem in dealing with the problematic coastal areas where land values are increasing and so are land abuses. From Vlora, where this problematic situation is most evident, the Justice Minister, Tilda Jornai, stressed the government's reform will introduce the solution to the property issue. In most cases, not only has there been abuses in service delivery, but also in the registration of properties. There is an extraordinary overlap in titles, resulting in situations where two people hold titles for the same piece of land. In such cases, there needs to be a decision made to either return the land or compensate for it. The Albanian government is undertaking a major reform to tackle the property issue by treating all ownership titles in an integrated manner through an agency, conveyed Minister Jornai. Accepting that a part of this abuse has occurred as a direct result of actions in state offices, Jornai sought the help of citizens to denounce such cases. Citizens today have every chance to denounce all those public administration employees who abuse their positional duties via the shpriacheduam.al platform. These employees of the administration will not only be dismissed, but also prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, professed the Minister for Justice. Monday evening saw snowfall return, and with it, so did the usual problematic situation in mountainous areas. In Kukas, intense snowfall was accompanied by a drop in temperature and mist created on the road, which resulted in difficult situations in some axes, but fortunately without any major consequences. This Tuesday, all national axes were passable thanks to the 27 snow cleaner vehicles and 68 workers currently in action across the entire district of Kukas. On the national road near the Kalimash tunnel, the thickness of snow has reached 25 centimetres. Despite the high level of snow there, no problems of movement of traffic are as yet reported, even in the more rural side roads. In any case, the road police instruct drivers to be cautious and to equip their vehicles with chains. The whole county is supplied with electricity and no health emergencies have been announced as a result of the climate situation. In Dibra, the Chernovci-Klenia national axis is passable with chains, while from Klenia towards Stebleva, it is impassable as it has over 70 centimetres of snow. Deep mountain areas continue to face difficulties after being isolated for days. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.